The driver killed in a morning crash has been identified. Troopers tell us that it happened on Highway 14 near Wilson Drive in Lawrence County today. Officers say that a 25-year-old Stefano Israel Madison's Dodge Caliber traveled off the road and hit a tree.
The Lawrence County coroner tells us that Madison later died from his injuries at a nearby emergency room.
So 5 new this morning, a woman is dead after a crash in Anderson County. Highway Patrol says it happened around 4:15 yesterday afternoon in Townville on Old Dobbins Bridge Road. We're told a Chevy sedan lost control, hit an embankment and rolled over. The Anderson County coroner says 66-year-old Melody Schooneman was thrown out of the car. She died at the scene. Thank you for joining us. We begin with breaking news. We have new details from the Greenville County Sheriff about what went wrong.
2 deputies were shot during that training exercise on July 29th. 7 News' Taylor Farmer is live right now with what we found out this morning. Taylor.
Amy and Fred, Sheriff Hobart Lewis says both deputies have now been released from the hospital and are expected to make full recoveries. He called the incident terrible and traumatic and says it should have never happened. Last week, members of the Greenville County Sheriff's Office SWAT team were training inside of a vacant building off Wade Hampton Boulevard. Sheriff Lewis says deputies were practicing clearing rooms when one of them fired a 12-gauge beanbag shotgun round at 2 deputies entering the room, believing it was loaded with blanks. Instead, it was live breaching ammunition that hit the 2 deputies. Sheriff Lewis telling us one was struck in the leg, severing an artery, and the other under the arm. Medics on site rushed in immediately and stopped the bleeding. Sheriff Lewis credited them for saving the deputies' lives. Sheriff Lewis says the live shotgun bullets, the ones accidentally used, were stored in a desk drawer and had been fired for testing, but not in their usual way, so they weren't properly checked. Lewis told us bullets are usually labeled, separated, and stored in another room. He believes getting them out of a desk was a rushed call and unacceptable.
You got 2 deputies in the hospital. Let's get to the bottom of it. I think my immediate reaction was, let's figure out how this happened and make sure it doesn't happen again. That's our responsibility, for sure.
Sheriff Lewis says the department has stopped using shotguns in their biweekly training for now. He also added that SLED has not been asked to step in as there is no criminal investigation. Live in Greenville County, Taylor Farmer, 7 News.
Taylor, thank you. And Sheriff Lewis says some staff were placed on administrative leave for wellness reasons, but so far no disciplinary action has been taken.
Whooping cough is highly contagious and doctors are urging caution as cases spread.
The CDC reports more than 8,000 cases of whooping cough in the United States so far this year. That's more than double the number reported at this time last year.
There are more cases this year than last year.
Dr. Rachel Stein, a physician at Parkside Pediatrics, says whooping cough is a highly contagious respiratory illness caused by bacteria that spreads easily through coughing or sneezing. It may start out like a common cold, but unlike a cold, Dr. Stein says the cough can last for weeks or even months.
The cough can just be prolonged and severe, and it can cause like a whooping sound as people are inhaling deeply at the end of a coughing spasm. And in infants, it's more likely for them to have episodes of apnea, which is short periods where they stop breathing.
Doctors are warning people with weakened immune systems like infants and older adults to take extra precautions. In North Carolina, data from the Department of Health and Human Services shows more than 800 cases in 2024, the highest number the state had seen in 70 years. This year, the number is expected to surpass that record with approximately 600 cases already reported. The data also shows that in South Carolina, the number is lower, around 200 cases so far. Back in the early 2000s, whooping cough cases in South Carolina were very low, according to DHEC. Dr. Stein says the recent rise may be linked to vaccine hesitancy, but a safe and effective vaccine is still available and strongly recommended.
We give it at 2, 4, and 6 months, and then again at 15 months and 4 years old. And then the Tdap vaccine is given at 11 years old. And then every 10 years or with pregnancy.
Dr. Stein says anyone can get whooping cough, and those infected are usually contagious for up to 2 weeks after symptoms begin. Besides vaccination, the best ways to protect yourself are frequent hand washing and limiting contact with those who are sick.
Doctors say if you or your child have a cough, don't wait. You should get tested. In Greenville County, Taylor Farmer, 7 News.
Governor McMaster proclaimed August as Emergency Management Awareness Month across the state. And 7 News' Scarlett Lizjak shares a way that Spartanburg County Emergency Management is helping to prepare the community if disaster strikes.
Spartanburg County Emergency Management is working to educate the community on how they can be better prepared for disasters. One of those ways is through their Community Emergency Response Team training, also known as CERT. We're told this month's training will be the 3rd class of 2025 and the 96th class since 2005. Over that period of time, the program has helped train nearly 2,000 citizens. The training is free and open to anyone in the community.
I hope that people will learn how to be better prepared. The first chapter we do is personal preparedness. If you're not prepared, you can't go out in your community and help others. If you're a volunteer with us and you're not prepared, you can't come help us during times of disaster. So better prepared is the #1 objective.
I absolutely do recommend it. Like I said, it's a very good program. Everybody around here is very knowledgeable. You get to learn skills that you can apply yourself in the real world, and you can see the different side of things, you know, like from search and rescue to non-emergent EMS to pretty much anything.
The CERT training is all day Saturday, August 16th from 8 a.m. to 10 p.m. Reporting in Spartanburg County, Scarlett Lizjak, 7 News.
And the training's free to the public, lunch and dinners provided, and at the end of it, you get 3 certificates. Spartanburg Emergency Management tells us that they are also hoping to recruit more active volunteers. 7 News is your local election headquarters. It has been 74 days since Chuck Wright resigned as sheriff of Spartanburg County, and that triggered this special election and the primary that is featuring 9 candidates. Polls just closed minutes ago. 7 News' Lauren Miller is live outside the sheriff's office tonight with a look at what's at stake. Lauren.
Hey, Amy. Yeah, like you said, polling just closed at 7 p.m. and a new era of leadership is really on the way here. After former Sheriff Chuck Wright resigned after nearly 2 decades, there's 9 candidates vying for this position. In no particular order, they are as follows: Rusty Clevenger, Bill Ryan, Adam Crisp, Andy Clark, Robert Cheeks, Nick Duncan, Randy Hollifield, Rick Stevens, and Joseph Pilato, with most promising to tackle crime, deputies' pay, and building back the community's trust. 7 News spoke with voters outside the polls today to ask what they're looking for in a sheriff.
Deputy retention is probably a key thing there. I had a friend of mine that worked for the county jail at one point, and it's just tough to find people to take the responsibility of being in law enforcement, and to get good quality people, you've got to have a quality leader do that.
Well, we'll be watching closely to see if a candidate wins outright or if there'll be a runoff election. That'll be in 2 weeks. We'll bring in the most up-to-date results as we can. For now, live in Spartanburg, Lauren Miller, 7 News.
Lauren, thanks. And we're going to bring you the latest results on WSPA.com all evening. Also, your 7 News app and WSPA Plus. And